I'm going to take you back to when I was in the 4th grade. That was about 10 years ago. I participated in something called the Flint Area Science Fair. This was in 1963, okay? And I was in the 4th grade. And I just knew that my project was going to win, okay? I was into electronics even then. But my project was a robot. And it wasn't just a stack of cans that I called a robot. This thing had a unique feature. It had a photoelectric cell on the back. And if you shone a flashlight on this photoelectric cell, and think about this now, photocells were only around for a few years in 1963. I mean, cars were barely around then. But if you shine a light on this photocell, the robot would move. And I finished this thing when I was in the 4th grade, getting ready for a science fair. And as I say, I knew that no other 4th grader was going to build something like this. So I just knew I had this thing locked. Okay. Well, the science fair was something in Flint that in those days everybody was encouraged to participate in, no matter what class you were in. Everybody had to participate in science fair. Kind of like everybody got to do a pitch, right? And one of my neighborhood buddies was in the special education class at our school. And his project was as follows. He wanted to know if teeth would rot faster if you place them in Coca-Cola or if you place them in water. In his project, he got a couple glasses. He put Coca-Cola in one. He put water in the other. He got some previously owned teeth from a local dentist. He strung a wire through the teeth, and he put one set of teeth into Coke, one set of teeth into water, and he would slosh them around occasionally. He left them in there for a few weeks. That was his project, okay? So we get to the IMA, the auditorium where this judging was going to take place, and I'm cocky. You know, I just knew I won. And I told all my classmates, I'm going to win this science fair. I got a robot. Enough said, okay? Well, I would like to engage you folks in being the judge of this science fair, okay? Just between these two projects, okay? So I want to see a show of hands as to, would you vote for the robot? Raise your hands. All right. That was my project. Would you vote for the teeth? Okay. Well, you guys think like me. Must be a lot of engineers in this room because I felt like I should win this science fair. And I didn't. I didn't even place. Okay? So I have a free book over here, a copy of my book, for anybody who can tell me why I didn't win. You know, by the way, this guy with the teeth, he got a blue ribbon. Okay? Let's see. Are you a student? It's not fair if you're not a student. Okay. Let's see. This guy here with the stripes.
You didn't engage in the scientific method?
Boom! This guy's on the money. No scientific method whatsoever. I just built a robot. And it was impressive. But, boom. And you know, I had seen this flow chart in the materials that they passed out for the science fair. But I said, forget this stuff. I'm going to build a robot. Well, you know, ask a question, form a hypothesis, you know, do an experiment, make your conclusions, and, you know, that's the scientific method. And give feedback, try it again. Okay? I was so crushed by losing this science fair in the 4th grade that that lesson stayed with me for the rest of my career. And I'm going to tell you how in a few minutes. So that was one early lesson. You know, 10 years old, I learned that lesson. Now, the next thing I'm going to ask you, how many of you had a business when you were a kid? Some kind of business in the neighborhood? Okay, fair number. Well, a lot of kids in my neighborhood had a business too. One of the most popular businesses in our neighborhood was bottle collecting. You know about bottle collecting? You get a deposit, back on that bottle when you take it to the store. And, in those days, it was 2 cents for one bottle and 5 cents for another one. But if you collected enough bottles, you got like, $5 or $6. So my buddies and I would go around the neighborhood with our wagon, and we would collect bottles. And at the end of the day, we'd take the bottles to the store, get our money, and we'd buy potato chips and Cokes and Twinkies and whatnot, have a little party. Okay, so basically, my approach to that business was to take my wagon, walk to the next house I would see, and I'd go up to the door. You got any bottles you don't want? And the person would either give me some bottles or they'd say no. I'd go to the next house. You got any bottles you don't want? So like that. And you go around the block, hopefully you get some business. Well, one of my buddies, a guy by the name of Johnny Reeves, took a different approach with the help of his father. Now, Johnny had some business cards printed up. Johnny Reeves, bottle collecting service. And he would go up to a person in the neighborhood, one of the houses in the neighborhood, and he would say, "Hello, my name is Johnny Reeves. I am the Johnny Reeves Bottle Collecting Service, and I would like to take those smelly, stinky bottles off your hand and take them to the store, okay? And not only am I going to take these stinky bottles off your hand, I'm going to give you half of whatever I get from the store." And in no short order, Johnny had taken all of the bottle collecting business from the neighborhood. Bottle collecting was no longer a viable business for me and my buddies. Again, I was crushed, and not only that, I didn't have many parties anymore. So I mentioned both of those things to say that fortunately, by the age of 10, I had learned the two most crucial lessons that I needed to learn in business. I needed to learn about, approaching things with a scientific mindset, and I needed to learn about entrepreneurship. In other words, identifying value, creating value, selling that value to a customer.